Yes, yes, yes. It's July 3rd, 2020. And there's birds, there's chickens, and I'm out here to do a video with a special friend of mine. My name, first off, is Adam Shafran, and I operate a certain nursery called Flying Fox Fruits. But there's a gentleman behind the camera who I would love to introduce. His name is Chris Lehman, and his fiancee's name is Erica, and his entity's name is Freedom Fruits. Isn't that simple? How did he come up with that? I don't know, but I'm almost like, dang. I'm actually baffled that no one got that, Chris. Is that a truth?
Yes.
It's a little baffling. So I'm gonna ask Chris, like, we're doing a repotting video really quick, and I'm introducing Chris, but we're gonna be handing the camera back and forth and having fun. It's informal. We're trying to get this done before the sun comes down. We're hearing fireworks. We're hearing guns going off. It's America time. Let's do some. Let's liberate these trees from the fruit. These trees right here are stuck in these pots, and we're just gonna give them some root space and freedom and show you how. So Freedom Fruits all the way. I love the name. There's liberty to be had around the whole world. It's not just this place, that place. It's of the mind. It's, Chris was talking about picking a name, something that was, we were just racking our brains, and he's thinking, I'm thinking, and it's like opening up the mind, letting, all these fruits you ain't had before. And it's like the freedom to explore, taste something new, plant something new, the freedom to even grow your own food, maybe. Just freedom to eat and grow food, I feel like, maybe. But that's just me talking. Anyway, Chris, come on over here. Bring it in. And then I'm going to take the camera from you. And then, I'm going to show it on myself here for a second. And I'm probably not doing a good job. First, these are the plants. This is the man, Chris, right here. And I really appreciate this man. He's helped me out quite a bit. He's been doing a lot of the yard work here, the repotting, the chicken husbandry, or all the farming. And it's just been great. So, Chris, we're going to do some handing back and forth. Right now, this is a Butterscotch Sapodilla. Let's show them the branch we trimmed off in the other video. It was starting to hang over. Let's do a dramatization really quick. This is how the tree appeared before, when we tried to film this before, and we had to prune it. And it was a dramatization, please. It was in a pot about yay big. You can see the pot size. And then you can see how it was leaned over. And we came in and used and removed the cutting. So now look at that. And then, Chris, what variety is it?
This one here is butterscotch.
Butterscotch. Sapodilla. And then, so when you're growing your fruit, what first, can I ask you something, Chris? What was like the first rare fruit that you tasted? When your mind, like, okay, you've tasted mangoes. I mean, the first, I think I know already, maybe, but the first one you tasted that you were like, this wasn't at the store, I had to find it.
It was probably going to be Sapodilla.
Isn't that funny? And you don't have to give me all the details of your whole life, but essentially the way I understand it was,
I was walking around the courtyard and was on the phone at the time for work and had noticed fruit in the tree. And there just had to be fruit somewhere along the side, and I knew that the groundskeepers probably had maintained it, and they knew that there was fruit there, so I had scoured the gardening area, was able to locate one fruit and put it in my back pocket, and ran upstairs into the bathroom of the hotel I was staying at.
Skeeters, Chris. I'm not going to let him do that to you.
And, I didn't know what it was. I had no idea what it was.
You smelled it on the ground fermenting, and you could smell the sweetness.
Yep.
The instincts were taking over.
Yep.
But I'm not rushing you along. Mosquitoes are coming out.
So I split it open.
Yeah.
And wanted to search the seeds, so I researched them and finally found out that it was a Sapodilla. I didn't know what variety it was, but little by little I tried eating some and more, and I didn't feel quite comfortable with it because I still didn't know what it was.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I was able to differentiate the seeds, so...
you can choke on them. They're sharp and angular. Yeah. And I've seen someone, even an adult, like children is worse than adult males, but a child, they write warnings in books. So, I've always got everyone's got to have a disclaimer for everything, but the Sapodilla seed is sharp, and little kids, you make sure to remove them. They're like a sword, like a 3-edged sword going down.
They have one little sharp end off of the side of it that
It's like
is very sharp.
like a fish hook or something. So anyway, that's interesting though. You like took a leap of faith, so to speak. You're like, you're under the tree, you smelled it, you knew it was right. It was right there. And like you're smelling it, the bugs are eating it and it's stinking.
I've seen some eating fruit already, but.
And then you take it back to the hotel room and it's soft.
Oh yeah.
It was on the ground.
Oh, it was right.
You got mosquito by mosquito. And then so wait a second now. Wait a second. And then you made the leap and you taste a little bit. And it's like sweet like sugar. Mm-hmm. And you're like, well, it's not hurting my throat. And you're like, well, I'll take some more.
Yeah, a little more.
Yeah, anyway.
More.
That's a metaphor for some things. And I've done the same thing and I got brought into it too. Okay, let's hurry this up. Can you hand this back to me real quick? Because I'm going to speed along. So this right here is your Sapodilla. And you notice we've only put the soil down to the halfway mark. Not even, no, that isn't even halfway. We've only put about it. Look at where my knuckles go, down to my knuckles maybe. You know, we put about that much deep. And so that's all we're using. And like, all right, let's pull this out and get a shovel. We had one at one point. We don't need a shovel. We got a bucket. And then we're gonna tell him, Chris, tell him why this may be an advantage. Like, if we were mixing soil right now, what would be like, you know, like we've got two vessels right here. One is a 25-gallon nursery pot. The other is like a kiddie pool from Walmart.
Yes.
If you're gonna be mixing soil, I'm curious let's go over some, you know, advantages of this thing.
Well, this one here is much taller and harder to work in. If you were to try to repot in it, it would be a pain. There's a lot more surface area here, so you can gather quite easily.
That's right. That's exactly right.
These are relatively cheap, durable, and they last many seasons.
They used to be 8. I think they're like 12 or 14 now. It's worth it to me if you get a durable one. Even if you get a cheap one, you find people throwing them away all the time.
Yes.
I think I've got 3 or 4 that I found that were thrown away, and I've passed over by 10 of them that were messed up. And
right.
So you see me just throwing the soil in, and I'm going to tell you a couple things before I take the camera and hand it back to Chris. I want some Chris on here. I don't want to always see me. I want to see some other people. We're running out of light, but so you see that in there, and I always mash around the sides, Chris. You see that? I like to push down real good along the sides, and then you don't have to disturb that root ball, that original root ball.
Correct.
And then so you mash down and pack in as much as you can along the sides, and then push down on the top. And then this is my theory with this. This plant came out of a pot about that big, which is a 3-gallon, but now it's in a 25. I didn't put it up to the top so that I could do it and graduate it. You know what I mean? You can repot something in the same pot.
Okay.
So that's why I did that. And this tree's probably going to be good in here for 3 years, maybe more, maybe less. So that's done. We just need to water it and put it in some good sunlight.
And this just conserves space. It conserves overbuying certain, too many pot sizes and having to.
It delays your expenditure time.
Yes.
Like, I'm not having to spend all that on soil.
Every upsize to a specific pot size.
It's less commitment to the monetary side. Okay. You're committing more to the So I'm going to take this from you, and then we're back to Chris. And now I'm going to have him do some stuff he kind of knows how to do and walk him through it and tell him why he's doing it.
What do we want to do here?
We're going to take these right here and pick that up there, I think. Yeah. And then let's talk about what are these? Let me see. They are, they look like Garcinias, the lemon drop mangosteens, I think. So you know how to flip them upside down and separate them. Like, you go ahead. Yep. He's putting his hand flat. He's turning it upside down. And then everything. Yep. Oh, wait, stop. Let's look at the roots. That's gorgeous. Let's show them roots. This is always very important. If you're going to repot something, it's nice when the roots have reached the bottom. But it doesn't always have to be that way. Right. And you can try to untangle it, but you don't necessarily, you can do what he's doing. He's following his instincts, gently untangling, gently untangle. And certain trees are going to be more sensitive to root damage than others. The ones he's working on are not particularly sensitive. And these are Garcinia brasiliensis, or the lemon drop mangosteens. He's finding a central point. This is what I taught him to do, or he knew it himself, but this is exactly how I do it. And then split open, he's got it, and then they're all laid out for him to go ahead.
How do you want to separate at a time here?
I would just do individuals and show him how to rip out an individual and try to keep a root mass together and separate and have fun. And exactly, he's defining root masses. Boom, got one. Defined and set aside. Least damage possible to the root. Great job. I think that's a single. You're good. Leave it together. I would. Yep, that's a single. Boom. Even if there's a double and it's really close, that's a poly. You know what I mean? 2 out of 1 seed. So don't try. You could try to separate it, but I don't. Perfect. That's another. Boom. He's separating plants. These are good to ship like this too. You know that? Like, they're strong enough. You can just pop them apart and ship them like that. I would just leave it together. Have fun with it. Boom. Next. Sometimes I like to leave 2s in a pot. Boom. Next. Yep. You got it. And then so throw one in a pot. There's the biggest daddy. You see the big daddy. And there's always the one that comes single. It's fine if it gets pulled apart. These are really strong. Some stuff can't handle bare root. These can. Boom. And then that's a double. Yeah, you're good. And then so now he just starts, well, let's pick for the beast, let's throw it in that pot because it's nice and deep. A little soil at the bottom. He picks up a nice big, always start with the biggest and work your way down is usually what I do. And then make sure that root is all the way down, or you can rip it off if you like. You could crack that root off, I bust it off sometimes. It doesn't hurt anything to just rip it off. The whole, you got it. Popped it off and then put it in there. I probably didn't film it so well. Good job though. And then you put it in the pot. You could have put this one all the way to the top because it's not such a. Yeah, I would, because this is a totally different operation now. Where like I've got a smaller tree and like it's not that big of a pot, and like I'm really trying to give it room now. You got it, and I can throw some in there for you. This teamwork make the dream work, right? And then he did a perfect job. I mean, that's about it. All he's got to do now, if you don't want to water it every day, put it in the shade and put a dish under it. You know these things can stay flooded for like 6 months, and underwater for like 3 months, easy. Like I've put some of them underwater for like a month or two at a time and they just don't die. That's just what, it's part of the thing. So he repotted one. Let's do one more small one, like one of these small pots. Good job though, Chris. This looking gangsta. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Is that a sapodilla? It sure is. That's a sapodilla jumped in there. That's a sapodilla seedling. I think you're gonna take that one home. All right. That's your. That's for the grafting video next, huh? Awesome. We can graft onto that. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, so we're doing a grafting video with that scion next. We're gonna probably do it indoors.
Teaser.
Yeah, we're gonna probably do it indoors because of the what do you call it? Mosquitoes. And then we're not gonna do all of these, I don't think. Nope. Do one more, pop one in, and then dude, are we about to wrap this up and go on to the next? You think? So. Maybe I'll maybe I'm gonna pot one up too if you want. Or unless you want to pot it. There's one behind you. Get one. Yep, that's a rare Jabba Caba. Let's show it to him. Now, certain things, all right, don't pull weeds yet. A trick is, I've learned, don't pull the weeds before you go to pull it out because it just helps things stay together, right? Yeah. And then so let's show them the shape of it though. Hold it up just like you would sit at the nursery. And then what's up with the shape on that? Like, hold on. Let me see this real quick. It's like, it don't have anywhere to be. You know what I mean? It's like kind of like growing over this way and not on that side. Well, I think, Chris, let's just put it in that little pot there. That's it. It's just, look, just a little bigger than what we had, and that doesn't ever hurt to gradually step stuff up, right?
Yes, never.
Yeah, this is gorgeous though. These plants, it's just sometimes when the water's not good. Let's look at the root mass. Is there ants on or anything? We're hoping not. Sometimes you get an ant on there. Nope, we're good. And then, now I would try to do this, where you bring it and pot it to where this gets brought up. You angle it the other way. Angle. Nope, here you go, take the camera. This is my turn. You just sit it down, watch this. This is a trick. Now, see, when you got a tree, it's like, look, it's like, you see, look at this thing. It's like bothering me the way it's shaped. Look at it. See how it sits there? Mm-hmm. It's bothering me. And like, I used to always deal with this. You gotta take it out, and then maybe just a little bit here at the bottom. Look, this is so counterintuitive. So I've got some soil at the bottom. But now look, you're gonna break off this part of the root mass, right? Just remove that, and then put it in, straighten it out, right? And then now we come back. I'm not trying to hurt anything over here. I'm hitting all these other. Jiggle. Oh gosh, chickens is fighting. I hear them beating each other up. But you see how I just created a whole new surface level there. Yes. And then you can just push them into place like you want. Like putty, like silly putty, Yeah. And don't be, as long as you don't destroy, you can mash the roots down as long as you don't jostle them and break them all apart. Now look at it. See how it's straight now?
Yes.
All right, so that's one there. And then I guess we're wrapping it up. I'm gonna take it, well, do you want it? We're gonna do another video with Chris. I'm Flying Fox Fruits, Adam Shafran. That's
Chris Lane with Freedom Fruits.
Freedom Fruits. I love that name though. I really do. Can't believe you got that. How'd you get that?
Yeah, I went like this and said, it's available.
All right, so we'll be back, and then y'all be good and have a happy 4th of July, right?
Stay safe.
Yes, correct. Always.
But enjoy and have fun.
Be fun, have humble. All right. See you. Bye. It's still going. How do I stop it, Chris?